how it looks like, and then create compute resources. Then you also create your data resources. And I think that would be basically all. It might take longer and it might take a while because I need to create some of this resource from the scratch. Right, so you go to portal.azure.com. It's going to require you to log in. So my subscription got renewed at the end of March. So let me switch to mine. Switch to mine. No directories. So if it's your own subscription, you would have all the permissions you need. So in this case, this is my own subscription and I have everything I need. And then if I'm to add any of you to this subscription, which I don't want to, because I don't trust you guys yet. I don't know when I will trust you people. See, I already have $148.36 $148.36 left. Okay, so this is our skills lab resource group. And in the previous class, I was showing us how to copy data to our database from flat file down to using the Azure Data Factory, then to copy, just in case your data resides somewhere else. But in this case, we are looking at how to create the Azure Machine Learning Studio or the workspace where you would then launch onto to do this. So I'm sure some of you would have probably seen this process before, especially in the AI 42 lectures. Just to be sure, was it covered in the tutorials?
Which one are you talking about, sir? Which part of?
What did you say, sir?
Sir,
I can't hear you, sir.
It's in your ML Studio workspace.
Oh,
yeah,
I
was
don't
it
think they covered ML Studio in AI 42. Oh, yes, it was.
Okay, they didn't cover it.
The very first one. Wait, I remember the very first one that the lady did. She used pipelines.
Yes.
The very first one that she was showing us how she did her project.
So I think we're losing you. Oh my, I'm not sure Lamide's stuff is actually. Lamide, your line is breaking. I think maybe you can drop a chat instead. I think that would work. So then assign access to Azure Active Directory users group or service principal, and then you select the Microsoft account you used to sign in to assign or the components you can use to work on the data, and in fact your whole project. So so into the Azure Portal, which I just opened here, and then to create your machine learning resource. Then we are going to select the enterprise workspace, but this is very expensive. So it's expensive, but basic edition is low. Hello guys, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I don't know why the call dropped. Sorry. Let me share my screen. Okay. So you can learn the pricing on this link, how the pricing is done.
Sir, I can't hear you very well.
That you have there using this link, Azure. Is my voice not loud enough? Are you the only one that can't hear me? What of others?
It's breaking.
Can you guys hear me?
Breaking.
Hello? Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I keep wondering why I keep asking if you guys can hear me, but only maybe one or two people are responding. Is it that most of you joined the call and then you're quiet and you're doing something else?
No, so I think it's network because sometimes.
Yeah, it was network on my own side.
Exactly.
Okay, I like the class to be interactive, so and I don't like the way we are keeping quiet. Just to make it interactive is why I ask questions, and then I expect your answers. Well, hope you can see my screen now.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So these are the various computes you can configure. This is basic. This is standard. D2s or the D2. All these ones are data science computes. So there are different computes you have here. So you would have to decide which one you want to go for, depending on the kind of work or data. If you're working with graphics, you probably use this ones. If you're working with ordinary data, the GPUs are specifically good for image or graphics or videos and the likes. So these are the different types. Then there are also SLAs for it. And then the SLA guaranteed here is 3915, 99.995%. And then the plan starts from $29 per month, depending on the plan you select. So this kind of thing, I'm going to configure it on my subscription, but then I will need to be careful how long I leave it running. As you can see, some of them are like 0.2 or 202 cents per hour. And the higher the compute or capability, the more expensive it will be. So this studio is actually going to sit on a machine that will be based on the configuration you select here. I hope that is cool, guys. Then you can go to the documentation to get other details you need. For instance, you get maybe this, your code first, or little or no code, or you bring your model to Azure, and then you deploy and manage that model. So there's what we call the ML ops, machine learning operations and all that, managing your models and all. So all will be covered under the ML ops. So for instance, you have a pipeline that you created a model on, and the accuracy of that model, of the initial model, is let's say 70%. Then you worked on it again, and you run it through another pipeline, and the accuracy of that one is 80%. Now you want to switch you want to know which pipeline or which of the run, maybe the same pipeline but different runs. Different runs of the pipeline has different run ID. So which of the runs do you want to use? Is it the first run that has an initial or an accuracy of 70%, or the latest run because you did changes to your code and you run it again on the same pipeline and that's the latest run and it's giving you 80%? Which one would you use? And how do you get the ID of the run? So you're going to see all that, and then hopefully this gets interesting for you guys. So these are basically, let me drop this link with you all. You can use that in your free time. But I do hope you guys can all hear me now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, so to create the resource, I already showed us how to create a resource on Azure. But for those who have forgotten, I say you first of all need to create a resource group if you don't have. And this is how you create a resource group. You go to resource groups, and then you can, if you don't have any new one, these are the resource groups I have. Remember, all your resources would have to be in a resource group. Any resource you are creating needs to be in a resource group. But we already have one resource group here, Skills Lab RG. Now, I would click on that, but if you don't have, you need to click on this and create a new resource. I'm not going through that. This is what I'm saying. Yeah, once I click on that, it shows this, but I don't need it. So let me go back. Then I'll click on Skills Lab Resource Group. Then to add a resource to this group, just like we added the SQL Server and the SQL database on the server, you click on Add, then search the machine learning. So this is it. This is how you create your machine learning studio workspace. Or you click on create, and then so the same subscription. There are other subscriptions in my with attached or where I have under this, but this is the main one we are using, Visual Studio Enterprise. Then let's give it a workspace. Let's call it Skills Lab ML Workspace, WKS. Let's leave it in Central US. The storage, we would need to create a new storage for it because we don't have. So it's going to create this storage for the hard disk, then a key vault to create this a new key vault here, and then application insights. But these are all compulsory things, so we can't leave them. But in this case, we don't want a container, so we are going to skip that. Then we go to networking. I want to make this open. All right. So encryption type, we'll leave that to Microsoft to manage. No, this is not a high business impact one. We don't need that. Then we now do this. Okay, so it's trying to validate. It's been validated. And we click on create. So while it is creating, the next thing, maybe once it is created, we can go to the workspace and then check out the tools that we're probably going to work with on that machine learning workspace. So you just need to know that the web-based interface for ML is the Azure Machine Learning Studio. You may confuse that with the free Azure Machine Learning Studio products that other people use for creating models or using a visual designer. So the more scalable version of this is included in the new studio interface. All right, so once we get there on the portal, we've done this one. So what we need to do is to click on the launch, just like we did with the data factory. When we created the data factory, we now had to launch the data factory interface by clicking on author and monitor. But in this case, it's a launch. So it's still deploying, might take a little time to do that. So we're going to check and see how it looks like. Alternatively, you can use this link to go to the studio, and then you sign in with your Microsoft account, the one that you use to create the workspace. So you select your Azure subscription and workspace. Don't worry, I'll show you guys that after now. Let this deploy successfully, then I'll show you. So right then we'll be able to view the machine learning workspace and then see all our assets we can manage and all that. Any questions so far, guys?
No, sir.
All right.
None, sir.
Okay. So once once this is deployed and we go to the interface, on the interface you need to create your compute and your VM that you'll be using to run all your experiments and all that. So without a compute, you can't have a working, you would not be able to do anything. You need to create a compute after creating your workspace. Just like on Databricks, once you create your workspace, you need to create a cluster that you would use to run all your script and all that. All right. So the same concept apply here, right? So let's check if we are done. Yep, it is done. It's taking time to load.
Sir, that means it takes time to deploy.
Yeah, it depends. I think both your network and some other factors. Okay. So here now we can click on launch. Then it's going to take us there. So it's already selected my subscription and then all other details, the workspace that I created. So it's launching that workspace now. So you see, the name we gave it, Skills Lab ML Workspace. If you're new here, you can create all this. You you can go through data and see how to register your data, train your models, evaluate your models, and deploy your models. Okay. So Microsoft Azure, like I said, it helps you to Azure gives you that flexibility for you to create your model and also easily convert them to endpoints that applications can call, send inputs and get results. And then even your software developer or your AI engineer who is going to integrate this intelligence or this model to your code will be able to call the endpoint easily and do what needs to be done. So basically, in an organization that roles are separated, mostly the data scientist probably doesn't even know how to do software programming or software development. They are just concerned with the model development. And then the AI guy who has a software development background would be able to integrate the model with be able to integrate the model with the existing software solutions. All right. Sorry. This basically, yeah, I think we could use this to do a tour of our interface. So here you have you can author by creating notebooks or automated machine learning, or you can use your designer. Your designer is probably like the graphics, drag and drop tools. You can drag maybe how to get your data and do different connection and do split and then selecting your training data and your test data and connecting your training data to your machine, your choice machine learning algorithm, and then doing an evaluation of your model, the test results, doing a check or testing it with your test data, then evaluating the model. Okay, so basically you can do building and training and evaluation of your model using these authoring tools. Then the next one are your assets, your data sets, your experiments, your pipelines, your models, your endpoints. I mentioned endpoints earlier, that your endpoints are what people are going to call to send in inputs to your model you have created and also get results. So, so here you prepare your data, you run and monitor your jobs and your models you've deployed, and also manage your pipelines and endpoints. Then on the management aspect of it is where you create your compute or your data stores or your data labeling and linked services. So your linked services would be a connection to maybe different storages. You met this concept in when I was introducing you to Data Factory, where you would connect to, you create a linked service from Data Factory to maybe your on-prem database or to an Azure SQL database or to a blob storage, depending on what exactly it is. All right. Then on help, here you can view tutorials and documentations that would help you to do what you want to do. Then, of course, Microsoft wants your feedback. And here, if you just in case you have more than one workspace, you can select which workspace you want to switch to, and it will automatically switch to that. Just like you have on Azure, I can switch directory. I have different directories here, and I can switch to anyone I like. And I did that at a point when I was switching from my organization's directory to my own private directory. Yeah. So then the last thing is that you're ready. Then you could do what you want to do. So the next thing we want to look at, any questions so far? Let me get our questions. Questions? Yeah, questions, guys?
None.
All right, no question.
Sorry,
Right, so this, yeah?
sorry, sir. I'm actually lost. My network got off.
Sorry, you said? Your network, yeah, you can watch the recording later. So basically you have these three ways of working here. It's either you work with a notebook or you work with an automated machine learning, or where you can just basically do a tuning of a model, and then you can use the designer. So this designer, I think a lot of people who have known Azure Machine Learning Studio for a long time will probably know so much about this designer, and it's a lot of people find it easy to use. Find it easy to use. So here you can see that we have no runs yet, and then no experiments, nothing yet, because we've not done anything. Here you can create whichever one you want to create, and you can add your data sets here, and then you can connect to or register a new data set. So look at this. If I want to pick a file from my local, or from a data store online, or from a web file, or from open data sets, maybe somewhere on the web, you can do that easily. But let's see, let's try to add one from our, let's call this international still. Let's call it Nigeria. It's file type. Then, so this data store, we would use that. So let's go, where do we have that? This here, data. I think I have more. Should have more. Okay, let's use this cells. Look at the size of this file, about over 140 megabytes here. So next, uploaded. So I'm adding this because I'm just showing us how to add data set to this environment or to our data store. but this is not the step to it. First, we are going to still look at how we are going to create a compute, then work from there. So while that is ongoing, come back here. So the next thing we want to do is to go to the compute page and then see, set our compute targets for activity. And then once we create the compute instance, or we go to the instance tab and create a new one. So these are the settings we are going to use. The virtual machine type, we set it to CPU. Then the machine size is going to be the standard data science or the DS1 V2. That's what we are going to create. Then we are going to create the cluster. We are going to create a cluster, and we are going to set it to these settings too. So guys, any confusion so far? What you need to do, first step is that you create your Azure Machine Learning workspace. So your workspace is going to be what I created on the Azure, on the Azure portal. And then once you create it, you go to the interface. This guy is still uploading. You go to the interface and you go to compute here. So I show us how to go to the compute and then create what we need to create based on this.
So I can't hear you. Olamide.
Yes, yes.
Okay, it's only me. I want to be sure. Because I can't hear him. Can you hear him?
No, I can't.
I feel like his network. His network is breaking.
I think it's currently up for
It's what? What
What?
did you say?
Already. It's probably having a network.
probably his network or something. But it's not on the call currently.
Yeah.
Please, let's wait for him. Olamide, please. Let's wait for him.
You're saying like
Hello, guys.
We can hear you, sir.
Hello,
Sorry.
sir.
Welcome back, sir.
Yeah, thank you. I had network issues.
Mhm.
Sorry about that. Yep. So let's continue. Oh, this guy would have failed, yeah, because of my network. I think we'll do that later. Please, not now, not feedback. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So let's go to compute and then so under the instance, we
Sir,
have, yeah, I can hear you.
the data store you were trying to do, was it under account selection method? Was it from Azure subscription or enter manually?
Sorry, I didn't get that.
Okay. Under new data store, there is data
Yeah.
store name, type, and there's account selection method. I'm asking if you did Azure subscription or enter manually. I can't remember.
Sorry, let me go back to what you're saying now.
All right.
So this is different file stores that we have here. And these ones were created by default. This was actually created by default, but you need to create one, new one. And this data type, if you have it hosted on Azure. Are you with
Yes,
me?
we are. Yes, we are with you, sir.
Yes.
Yeah. So if whatever you are bringing here is going to be stored in this data store type, whichever one you select here. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you chose enter manually.
No, I didn't choose enter manually. In fact, this was even the process I selected. So this one here, you are trying to connect to an already existing Azure storage, whether your SQL database or so if you are working in a company that you're using maybe Azure as your cloud service for your cloud services, then you can connect to any one of them using this. But look at this, if you select SQL, it then changes, you enter the ID and the password and all that. Or maybe it may be your on-prem and all that. So you want to connect to it and use or come
So which
access
one
the
did
data
you do?
this way.
Just me.
So
So
you
which
are
one were
doing
you
none of
doing
this.
before, sir?
So this is where I came, yeah. And then I said data set. To bring in a data set, then you click it, you click this drop down. Can you guys see the drop down? Hello, can you guys see the drop
Yes,
down?
we can. Yes, we can.
Okay, so you click on this drop down and select from local files.
Sorry, I did not see how you got here.
Oh my God.
Sorry.
So I said you come home, there's a drop down here.
Okay.
You click it, and then you come to data set. You click data set.
Okay.
Then you can now select this drop down tool and select from local files. Then it brings you here.
Okay.
So depending on what you want, if you are bringing in a file, you can do that for you. And you can do versioning of your data set. Okay? Is that clear, guys?
Yes.
All right.
Yes, it is, sir.
Yes, Thank
All right.
Yes.
Thank you. So we're here under compute. Like I said, we don't have any compute instance here. So we need to create a compute instance and then create a cluster and all that. So let's do that. And I told us the one GPU, you use GPU if you are working with graphics or video and the likes. But CPU is good for your text. And then we are going to select, we don't have the one we would need here. This is the cheapest we have. Let's use it's DS. You can search for it. Standard. Hope you guys remember the one we want. DS1. Here's one V2. Yeah, this is the one we want. And it is $0.07 per hour. So you can look at the maximum monthly cost, about $52.08 per month. Can you guys see it? Hello, guys.
Yeah, sir, I'm with you, sir.
Can you guys see the monthly estimate for this VM? Can you guys see the
Yes,
monthly
we can
estimate for
see.
this VM?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
I see it.
All right. So this is it. Still
So I
under
have a
Central
question.
US. Okay.
I have a question. Is it compulsory for, because at times there's some subscription that doesn't have the DBS 1.2 version or so DBV. Can we use any other one?
Some subscription.
Yes.
You could see that there are some, the first things you will see are recommended options. Then when you select from all options, you should be able to get this one in particular.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So I just select from all options, then I searched for it here. If not, would probably have been scrolling to find it. So look at the location. It is in Central US. Remember, this is the location where we created the workspace. So by default, it's going to create the cluster in the same data center or data center region. And then we've selected all that we need to select. So this is it. You're selecting CPU and standard DS1 version 2. Then we are going to enter a compute name. All right, so let's give it a name, skills lab. ML compute.
I have a question.
Okay. Yeah.
I should go ask.
Yes, I can
Okay,
hear
sir. I want to ask that. Okay, that thing you are looking at, is it like a template that we use to create visual machine learning stuff online?
I shared this with you guys. It's a repo that contains the steps.
Okay.
So you guys may not understand, so I'm using that to explain to you each step you are supposed to take. So I expected that some of you would have explored this before now.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So thank you, sir.
All right. Okay, so we gave it this name, Skills Lab ML Compute Instance. You can do SSH, where you give it a key that has expiry time. But no, we don't want SSH. So any other thing, virtual network assigned to other user, we don't need all this. So Let's create. So it's creating the compute instance. Then while it is creating this, we can go on to the compute clusters and then create another compute clusters. All right, so these are the things we are supposed to, the way we are supposed to do it. So we're going to create a dedicated cluster, and the VM size is going to be standard DS2 version 2. A number of minimum nodes 0 and maximum nodes 2. And then when it should turn off, how long should it stay before it turns off if nothing is being done on it? We are going to set it to 120 minutes. So dedicated CPU. So let's select our DS standard DS2 V2. And this is it. And this cost is going to be $111.60 per month. I think basically to teach you guys this, we probably need to use Azure Pass, and then I'm going to raise that so we can see how we can access our Azure Pass. So we've selected all that we need. So we are going to set these nodes in the next page, and then also set the name, okay, of the cluster. Right. Next, minimum, maximum set to 2. So this number of seconds, if it stays idle for 2 minutes, it should go off, and then the compute name. So give a skills lab. So we'll create it. So it's creating this, and this one is, so it might take a little while to create this two. Then now that we are done, so you can note this under the inference cluster is where we create and manage our compute targets. That's the place we are going to deploy. So your inference is actually for your deployment, while your compute and your clusters are actually for your where you do your training. Your cluster is where you do your training. Is that clear, guys? So differentiate between these two. Normally, if you're developing a software, you have your test environment and your production environment. So for in this case, your test environment, or where you do your training, is the cluster. Okay. So your compute cluster is where you do your training, and then your inference cluster is where you do your deployment. Are you guys with me?
Yes, I'm with you, sir.
Yes,
right.
sir. Yes.
So another thing, again, if you look at this, you have your attached compute. So we've done this successfully, and the compute instance is still deploying, okay? So this attached compute, just in case if you're working with maybe HD Insight or Databricks, or any other virtual machine, and you want to, that is outside this workspace, you want to attach them to the job you're doing here, so as to get maybe an input from there to this environment. Yeah? Someone said something. Okay. All right, so if you want to get those, you want to connect to another compute from outside this, your default environment, you're going to have to connect using this attached compute. Then you can select which one you want to connect to, whether a virtual machine somewhere or Azure Databricks or Azure Data Lake Analytics or HD Insight or Azure Synapse Spark Pool. So whichever one, this is still under preview. So it's not yet public. So it's for test purpose and probably may not have some of the services you really want to be available at the moment. Okay. So I think that would be that. Okay. So our compute is ready. But the instance and the clusters are up and running. So the next thing you want to do is to create your data resource. So we have data residing somewhere. We'll be working with the diabetics data. Then basically in this session, we would, or in this lab, this first lab, we will connect to the data. This is how we are going to do it. So you need to go you need to go to the data stores page of this the workspace we already have. So you have two data stores already, the ones you saw earlier. So they are both used to store your notebooks and then your configuration files and some extra other compute data. So we would look at that later. But then now we want to add a new data set from this particular URL that we are looking at. So what we'll do, we'll then have to go to the data sets page, and then so this data set represents the data, or whether in files or in table format, that you want to work with in this environment. And so how to create that, we'll then go here. So from we'll create a new data set from the web files. So go to data store. So let's create this. No, sorry. Sorry, I have to go home. So yeah, from data set, I think I brought us here already when Olamide was asking. So we go to from web files, you select that. So we are going to paste in that web URL and then give it a name and then the data set type. If we like, we can give it a description. Okay. I really hope you guys are following. Thank God it's recorded, so we can all go take a look at it later. So we are going to name it diabetes data set. And the type is tabular. Then I just give it any description we like. And then it's going to do some other stuff automatically for us. So first things, we've copied this, we need this. So the URL. So we paste the URL here, then the name we want to give it, diabetes data, it's tabular, and then we want to give it its data. So we want to skip validation? No. So we click on next. So under settings and preview, this is all it's going to be set to. comma delimited, or and then the UTF-8, and then we're going to use the headers as the from first file. Then number of rows to skip. We don't want any rows to be skipped. So these are all the things we need to set to bring that data set in, so it's connected. So use headers from file and skip none. Okay, so the next thing, this is a sample of the data that is coming. Click on next. Right, so this is it. The schema. So we are including all of them. Include all columns other than path, and then review the automatically detected types. So we're reviewing it. Everything seems cool and okay. And we're including all of them except path, okay? And then I think we are good. And then we click on next. We don't want to profile this after creation, so we just create. Okay, so we've successfully created this. If you want to go back to it, you can go back. But that brings us to the end of the formal this lab. You can explore what is there, see how your sample data looks like, and then explore in detail what this data represent, and then see maybe sample data from those who have been tested for diabetes, and then what kind of data you'll be working with in our subsequent labs. Okay, so far, guys, any question?
Sir,
Yeah.
I would like to ask, why did we exclude path?
Yeah, the path to the data, you don't need it. You don't need it as part of the data it's going to be adding to your table.
Oh, okay, I understand.
Yeah, you need every other column, but that column path is like, for instance, the path to where data is stored on your laptop. You don't need it. You don't even need it for your model.
Okay, I understand, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right. Okay.
Oh, sir, I want to ask, is it because it is a screen? Because it is a string.
Sorry, come again.
I'm asking if it's because it is a string, like you said, we don't need it. If it's because it's a string.
Yeah. No, not because it's a string. You don't need it. For instance, you are working on a model and you want, what do you need this file path for?
Okay.
Yeah. I think we are clear now, guys.
Yeah.
All right. So, no questions? I think we're all cool.
It's very interesting. I really enjoyed the session.
All right. So I expected that some of you would have probably gone through this on your own, and then would be talking or comparing notes in this class. Okay, so
Maybe tomorrow we'll have that.
As maybe
right.
some people does not have subscription. Not like maybe tomorrow.
Yeah, true.
That's the reason now.
And you can create a new Azure account. You can always hack Azure. Not hack, anyways. You can always find a way around creating a new Azure account, creating a new Microsoft account, and using that to create an Azure, get a new Azure subscription. And voila, you'll be able to do what we are doing.
Sir,
Yeah.
the GitHub repository, I've been trying to download it offline like normal, but is it downloadable? Like, usually,
No. You can only clone. You can only fork it. You can fork it or clone it.
Please take the message. I've sent a message.
So this is, if just in case you want to connect to this on maybe your Jupyter note or any of your notebook, you want to connect to this data we added, you can use this code. So what the Workspace or this does for you is that it automatically generates for you how to connect to this data set that we have here on your other compute.
Oh God.
Why is she shouting?
But sir, wait, according to what you're saying if you want to connect to the Workspace from Jupyter Notebook, we can use that code.
We are going
But
to use
like
VS.
there's a what?
That means we are going. Are you connecting through VS Code?
That's what I'm about to ask, because I tried once and I think I'm supposed to install Azure what's it called? Like, because it's taking it from Azure.
Okay. Yeah, it's taking it from Azure. If you
What
have,
like I tried to install Azure from PIP and it said it's outdated. I have to install the exact whatever I want to use in Azure. And then I tried and it was still acting up.
Is it from your VS Code?
Yes. So I'm wondering, okay,
sorry,
something there.
It might be that there might be a missing patch.
No, what happened to you is not happening to me.
Okay. So are you referring to the things that I've shown you so far?
Yes, on the screen. What is on the screen now? PIP install. But this one is upgrade.
This.
Upgrade to.
Oh no! You just calm down. I will show you what you need to do. Are you guys with me?
Yes. What packages? That's what I'm trying to remember.
You said?
I said I was trying to remember the word package. It was saying that I don't have Azure package.
Okay. All right. So what you need to do on this your instance, you just come here, click on Jupyter. Then it will take you here.
Oh, according to this, that means I have to use Azure's Jupyter Notebook. I can't use offline Jupyter Notebook.
Yeah.
Oh. I can't use VS Code. I can't use Anaconda.
No, you can't. So you go to the new tab. You can't.
Oh, can't. Okay.
Yeah. But I think there's nothing you can't do. You can, but you need to find a way to do that.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, you guys, I hope you saw what I did just now. So you click on Jupyter. Once you click on Jupyter, But please remember, when you are not using it, you have to stop it. Let's say, for instance, you end this. That will always be my message to you guys. So you don't come crying. All right. So I said you click on Jupyter. You have RStudio, you have the terminal itself, you have the Jupyter lab. But in this case, we are using this Jupyter. Then you come here. Once you click on it, it opens a new tab for you, brings you here. Then you go to New, click on Terminal. The terminal brings you here. Right, so that's where you're going to do your pip install. Right, so we are going to install the Azure Ml Sdk. To do that, sorry, almost forgot. Paste it. So it's going to install this, the Azure ML Studio SDK. Meaning in the environment, once you create your notebook, you'll be able to access it and do all you need to do. So far so good, guys. We have it. So it's been installed. And we have this. Right, so the next thing we are supposed to do. Okay. So next thing, we are going to run this command here. If you don't have it, you can clone this. So in this case now, we are going to cd users to go to this particular user. Then we are going to do a cloning of this resource that we have here, the git clone of it. It's cloning into DP-100. It's cloning everything we have there, some of the files and all. So that is done. Then, sorry, if you clone, you come here, you see it here. So it's cloned all this already. So you saw this in one of the files. All these files I show you here. Come in. Yeah, all this you're seeing here. The the Python notebook, IPython notebook files that you have here are all in here. So these are all you're seeing, and some of the codes we will be working with are already here. So that's basically what you need. So let me go back. So maybe after this, I'm going to end the class here with us today. So we've got in all this, and then we can open this initial file and see what is there. Then we can run this, and then maybe close it if we don't want. Then on the notepad, you need to understand your kernels and all the rest. And everything is in Python, so you would see all that we have there. Okay, and if you don't understand Python, You just need to refresh. I'm sure every one of you have been learning Python before now. So once we are done with this, remember I said we should stop. This is exactly my message, and I'll keep on singing that to our ears every now and then. Okay, so another task you would have to work on. Let's finish this first. So let's open this guy. You guys know how to run these codes, right?
Run what, sir?
How to use the Jupyter notebook.
Yeah.
There's only one person that is talking.
I said yes.
Okay. So here you're just checking the version of the Azure Ml Sdk you are using. And this version you have here is version 1.26.0. Then the next thing you want to learn how to connect to your workspace. And this is how you connect to your workspace. Workspace.from_config. Then you see the workspace you're using, and this is the workspace that is loaded here. Then any other resource you have here, compute, data stores, data sets, everything is going to bring them here. So these are our compute and our data stores. Remember also our data set, the diabetes data set. Okay, I think that will be all. So this is how you connect to it, and then you can also connect to your data set and then use it in your code or whatever you want to do. Okay, guys, any questions so far? I'd like to take your question.
Sir, you told us to stop and compute. Oh, there's an end already, Joshua.
Okay, Joshua.
What I want to ask that with this idea now, like with what you have lectured us on, can we still go ahead and go through the DP-100 ourselves?
Yes, sure. I like you guys to be ahead. Remember I said that.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, have fun, get stuck, remove yourself from your bottlenecks, or find a way around it. Fail fast. And I really want you guys to be very good using the MS and then also create
All right, sir.
models on that.
All right, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, because when you join a company, they really want to know if you have such competence and you can do enterprise level work. So what you're doing is not what I'm showing you now is not the usual machine learning work you guys know. Maybe Olamide can get me very well. Like you do work on your laptop, you don't know how to host it, how to integrate it, how to do your test, how to go into production. So you're going to learn all that here, and it will give you the right standing, the right start to your data science career. Are we good, guys?
Yes, sir.
Right. So I would also prepare ahead and give you maybe tough questions. You guys just need to know all these things, because they are majorly what you meet in your exams. So the next step is for you to create your Visual Studio code space. So so in this case here, you probably don't want to limit yourself to the Python environment that Azure ML provides for you. You want to also have your own environment where you can do maybe your graphical Python work, or have different packages you like installed and all that. You could use the Visual Studio code space to do that, and then it creates that flexible environment for you. And a lot of people are already familiar with Visual Studio Code. So it would be really cool for you. So I'm going to open this URL, sign in. I had one code space before. Oh yeah, so I think it's already brought me here. I hope I came to the right URL. Yeah. Okay. So the environment looks like this. Let me see, have I think I have one before. Let me check. These are all. Okay. So I don't need to sign in because it's already gotten me here. So I'm signed in here as Daniel, but let me sign out for me. Why it is taking me here? Sign in. So I'm going to sign in using that email I was using. So let me do this incognito. Because it's not taking me where I'm supposed to go. So let's see. Oh, it's already 4:42. Let's see if we can complete this task today. Oh, we still have a long way. So I might have to probably continue this with you guys later. And we are still here. Code space. It's asking me to sign into GitHub. Okay, Which one do we want? Python. Visual Studio Code. Then run Python. I think Microsoft has made changes to this. Whoa. So guys, I think Microsoft made changes to the code space. And will not be able to use code space the way we've been using it before. I think they're trying to link, they're doing a better version of it, and they're trying to link code space with GitHub, and then once that is ready, we should be able to use it. Wow. Oh, okay. I think we might have to stop here today, guys. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
I was going to ask
sir.
a question.
Yes, sir.
Sorry?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
I said I wanted to ask a question, sir.
Okay.
You said we should stop compute instances. Do we need to stop or delete workspaces too? Do workspaces take charges also?
If you delete it, you would have to create everything you've created so far.
So there's no need to delete the workspace, just to stop the compute.
Yeah.
Okay, sir.
All right. I think we will stop here today. Then we'll continue tomorrow.
Okay, sir.
I've not used this today, so let me delete this. I've not used it. But meanwhile, I've stopped the other one before it will eat my money. Okay, so no question from you all. Okay, so it's happy hour. Let's get a selfie. Okay, where are the rest? What happened? You guys were 9 or 10 when they're about. What happened to the rest? No one is talking.
We don't know.
You guys should know.
Maybe network. It's network. It might be network, sir.
How are you sure?
That's why I put my.
Mind. How am I finding it hard to believe you? It's like they paid you, right?
No.
Okay. Well, my face is rough today. I might not be able to show my face.
What?
Oh my God. Olamide,
Yes.
I ask you a question now. on the chat box. Can you go to it, please?
Yep, I got another one.
I can't see anything.
Take it there. It's there.
Okay, thank you so much, guys. There's someone one extra. Hold on, let me take another one. Yeah. So I've taken it.
Mohammed has missed it.
So Mohammed, how are you doing? Hello, Mohammed.
Network.
My guy, Aziz.
I think Mohammed left immediately you said you edited the picture. Probably his network.
Okay. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Please, what's happening, guys? A lot of you, I expected that those of you who have passed AZ900, you would have written DP-100 or AI-900. What's happening?
We are on it, sir.
Sir, my exam is for next week, sir.
Why next week?
It's because of the way things are. That's why I fixed it for next week. I wanted to put my exam this week, but I tried to look at one of the things. So I'm writing it next week.
Are you getting married?
No.
So I'm wondering why. What are the things happening? Sidmark gave you. You signed a contract with Sidmark to give Sidmark your 8 to 5 every day, for which Sidmark is paying you stipend. So we expect that you would take it very serious and get what you need to do done. And this is an opportunity for you. You may not realize it now. You may not realize it. I really do hope that you all will realize the opportunity you have and take advantage of it. I really that would happen. Okay, someone wrote his AI-900 today. How? Ojo?
Sir?
Yeah, how was it?
It was fine, sir.
You passed?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
On the norm now, it's supposed to pass. On the norm now, it's supposed to pass.
Congratulations. So, big congrats to you. So I'm clapping for you, Ojo.
Congratulations.
Let me clap for him also.
Can you see my hand?
Yes, I've also clapped. I've also clapped.
Clapping. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone. And do have a lovely evening and enjoy the rest of your.
So much, sir. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, now guys, I don't go.